Hey guys, so I know that you've talked about fire safety in the classroom and evacuation carry, so now it's time to watch the video demonstration for both of those. You will validate for all of this after you've practiced with your peer, and once you're ready to validate with your instructor, that's when it'll happen. As usual, it probably would be to your benefit to watch this video with your skill sheet so that you can make little notes as you're watching the demo. So the thing about fire safety is you have to remember race and pass, and you will have to know this for the rest of your life, especially if you work in a healthcare facility. You are tested on it annually, meaning every year. You have to take a computerized test about fire safety and how to use an extinguisher. Okay, so the first step in fire emergencies is to actually determine that there's a fire emergency. So there will be something to signal you that there's a fire in the room. Your instructor will tell you if it's in the trash can, if it is maybe sparks coming out of the electrical outlet, whatever the situation is, because you're going to have to determine which type of extinguisher you need to go grab. Now I'll go ahead and give you a little hint. All of the fire extinguishers found in the regular units of the hospital are your ABC fire extinguishers that can be used for any type of fire. Your specialty areas like radiology, they will have different types of extinguishers, but we still need to know what each type puts out. So for our purposes today, let's pretend like I walk into the patient's room and I see there's smoke coming out of the garbage can because our patient here decided they wanted to smoke secretly. They heard me coming when I knocked and put their cigarette out in the garbage can. So, knock, knock. Hey there, how are you? Oh my goodness, there seems to be a small fire in your garbage can. Time out. It's always a small fire. Don't scream and cause panic. Even if the room is engulfed, just say, oh my goodness, there's a small fire. That way your patient won't panic. Okay, so, oh my goodness, there seems to be a small fire in your garbage can. Don't worry, I'm gonna get you out of here. So our patient is non-ambulatory, meaning they cannot walk by themselves. I'm alone, so we're gonna have to do the blanket drag. So you're gonna be combining the evacuation carries with how to respond to a fire emergency skills, okay? So you're gonna grab whatever blanket you can. It can even be this top one off of your patient. That's perfectly fine. Make sure you spread your blanket out, push a little bit of it up underneath the bed so that you'll have enough to wrap around your patient when you put them on the floor. We're gonna be doing the blanket drag evacuation technique. All right, and please be careful because the blanket is very slick on the floor. We don't need anybody to like bump their head or whatnot. So, lower the side rail. Uncover your patient. Raise the head of the patient first. Then grab their knees and pull them to the side of the bed. Opposite of that, I'll show you what that looks like. It's not pretty. It's poor body alignment. So you're going to pull his legs, but you're not going to raise the back. So you can kind of do it all in one swift motion. All right, so this patient is immobile. I'm sorry, non-ambulatory. We're not going to take our hands off of our patient because if we do, they're going to fall. So maintain something on your patient so they don't fall over, and then you are going to sit beside the patient on the side of the patient that is closest to the door. This is important because when you get up to put your patient on your blanket, you want to pull them out of the room head first. So if you're sitting beside the patient closest to the door, when you do your technique, that's how it'll turn out. All right, so you want to sit beside your patient, put their back to your front, to your chest, and then you're going to wrap your arms up under their arms, and then you're going to lock your hands around your wrist. This prevents them from, like, if you hold them like this, they'll fall through. So go up under the arms. Right about now would be a great time for deodorant and Tic Tacs. So on the count of 3, get your broad base of support. Your feet are pretty far apart, broad base of support. You're going to count to 3. Tell your patient. We're going to stand up on 3, okay? 1, 2, 3. Stand up. And then your patient is going to slide down your leg. And then you're going to gently lay their head on the blanket. Lost his wig. All right, don't you worry, we're going to get you out of here. All right, at this point, you're going to take both sides of your blanket and wrap your patient like a burrito. One side over, yep, bottom up, the other side over. This will protect your patient if you have to go through any kind of flame situation. All right, then you're going to get beside your patient's head. Uh-oh. We'll come back for the hair later. Roll the blanket up beside your patient's head, and then you're going to kind of lean back to get your momentum going, and you're going to drag them to safety. Okay, this is our safe area. Lower the head gently. And then very important point, you always want to reassure your patient, everything's going to be okay. So now you've just completed R, which is rescue your patient that was in immediate danger. The next step would be to alarm and alert. So how do we do that? We hit the fire alarm. This lets the fire department know, hey, there's a fire at the hospital, we need to get over there. Then you pick up the phone and you dial the emergency number, 23456. That's the number. And you tell the operator, hey operator, there's a fire in a trash can in room 4, repeat. Okay, when you say repeat, that's telling the operator to repeat back to you what you just said, so that you will know they understood where the fire is. It's not for you to say, the fire's in room 4, repeat, the fire's in room 4. That's not the point. They have to this is closed loop communication. They're repeating back to you what you've just said so that they know the fire's in the right spot. All right, so then you can hang up. You've done R, you've done A, so now you have to do C, which is confine the fire. And how do you do that? Very simple. You just close the door to the patient's room. If you can manage this as you're pulling the patient out of the room and you can kick the door closed with your foot, that's great. But please don't forget that part. That's the part a lot of people miss when they're doing their validations. And that's 11 points, and you'll have to start all over again and repeat the skill. So, all right, so now we've got the fire contained. Our patient seems to be doing okay. Now we're going to extinguish. Remember, evacuations are not ordered unless it's ordered by a supervisor. Your job is to get that person out that's in immediate danger. So now it's time to extinguish. So we're going to grab our extinguisher. We're going to come back to the patient room. We're going to fill the door. If the door is too hot for us to keep our hand on it, that means do not open. If you can put your hand on it, you can open the door. All right, now we're going to do pass. That's your steps for using a fire extinguisher. So the very first thing you're going to do is pull the pin. The pin's right here. For the love, please do not pull the pin. That happened one time and our whole lab was like knee deep in graphite. Not seriously, but almost. All right, so pull the pin. Then you're going to aim the nozzle, standing 6 to 10 feet away at the base of the fire. So, why do we aim it at the base? That's where the fire is. That's where it originates. Why do we stand 6 to 10 feet away? There is a lot of force that comes out with this extinguisher when you squeeze the handle, when you squeeze the nozzle. So, anything that's caught on fire, it could propel it up into the air and it could come right down on top of your head. So, you don't want to catch your hair on fire, so make sure you're 6 to 10 feet away. So, squeeze the handle to activate the contents inside, and then sweep side to side. Sweep your extinguisher side to side. All right, once the fire is out, you will take the extinguisher to the appropriate department to get recharged. If you have any questions about fire emergencies or blanket drag, I'm sure your instructor will be happy to answer them for you. Thanks.